My faith has been challenged to the core. The things I was so sure of, I just can't count on anymore. But a new strength and wisdom has risen from my soul. Each day brings new lessons, and this much I do know, that life goes on, even though there are mountains, even though there are valleys. Life goes on, and now I see I don't have any answers. I just take it day by day. Life goes on. Oh, 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 oh. I get so scared of life's uncertainty. I keep trying to hold on to the people I love. Sometimes I forget God is holding me, love is surrounding me. It's all part of the journey, and life goes on. I keep walking over mountains, I keep walking through the valley, 'cause life goes on. And now I see I don't have any answers. I just take it day by day. Life goes on. Oh, 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 oh. I wish I had the power or a magic wand to take away all the suffering and pain. All I can do is have an open mind, 'cause control is an illusion. We're all living on God's time, and life goes on. I keep walking over mountains, I keep walking through the valleys, 'cause life goes on. And now I see I don't have any answers. I just take it day by day. Life goes on. Oh, 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 no matter if I'm happy, no matter if I'm sad, no matter if I'm good or bad, the sun will come up, the sun will go down. We're on this planet just spinning around. The seasons will change, people will die, babies are born, and we question why that life goes on. I said life goes on. Yeah, life goes on. I said life goes on.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you, Kent. Hello. Are you happy to be here? It's awesome. It's awesome to see people back in the sanctuary. So good that you ventured out on this somewhat chilly spring Colorado night. Thanks for being here. If you're watching us online, awesome. You're comfortable. You're warm. We're glad you're with us. And did you know that you can join us? If it calls to you, if the opportunity is available, Wednesday nights are open. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to do anything other than show up. Also, Sundays we're reopening, and if you would like to come to a Sunday service, 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, just go to our website, milehighchurch.org, /RSVP, and you can sign up for our 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock service. We would love to have you here. If it's been a while, the energy is amazing and the feeling in this sanctuary is palpable. So please join us. Tonight is the third and final part of a 3-part series that myself, Reverend Masando, and Dr. Patty are doing to honor the sacredness of all of creation in preparation for Earth Day, which is tomorrow. So again, tonight we conclude this. Reverend Masando and I will talk a little bit later about, give a little summary about what we talked about, and then Dr. Patty is going to talk about the web of life, and we have a brief ceremony that we want to go through, again, to honor the sacredness of all of the ways, all of the beautiful ways in which Spirit, in which God is showing up. And one of the ways Spirit shows up is through this beautiful music. So I'll turn it back over to Kent and Jennifer. Thanks for being here.
So this is a song that Kent and I have been doing, for, would you say 20 years at this point? Yeah. And it's amazing how relevant it is today, Tomorrow is Earth Day, as you all know, and this song definitely speaks to that. It speaks about taking care of, understanding, honoring, and respecting the earth. It also talks about taking care of, honoring, and respecting each other. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to see how we are so disrespectful to one another sometimes. People who look different than us, act different than us, believe different than us. And then we feel like we have a right to pretend we're better. And boy, are we not, So, I'm going to pull myself together. I'm going to sing this song, and I hope it touches your heart the way it touches mine. You think I'm an ignorant savage, and you've been so many places, I guess it must be so. But still, I cannot see that the savage one is me. How can there be so much that you don't know? You don't know. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the rivers are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends. In a circle, in a hoop that never ends. How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. Or copper skin, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain, need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Kent. Jennifer, you and I are getting a bad pattern going here. You sing something, then I have to get up and talk after you, and meanwhile I'm bawling. But I can deal with that. So a couple of weeks ago, I kicked off this series with a talk called The Book of Nature. And one of the things that stands out for me that I want to share with you is, we're religious science, right? We honor the golden thread. We have a couple of beautiful tapestries or banners or whatever you call them in our sanctuary that depicts images from the various major faith paths. And Ernest Holmes talked, I don't want to say exclusively, but quite a bit about that golden thread of truth that is found in all of the major faith traditions, in science and philosophy. And those faith traditions typically have a holy book, a set of scriptures that serves as a model that can provide instruction for right living, for ways of being with each other, for ways of being with the creation, for ways of understanding the mysteries that, typically, at least now, are perhaps beyond our intellectual capability to understand. So we talk about the mystery, the divine, the sacred. We talk about the power of faith. I have reverence, and Ernest Holmes had reverence, and I think I can generalize and say we all tend to have reverence for those various sacred scriptures, even though they may come from cultures different from ours and have traditions that we perhaps don't understand, but nonetheless there's a reverence because of that golden thread. There's another sacred book. Hazrat Inayat Khan, who is the founder of Universal Sufism, referred to it as the Holy Book of Nature. And if you think about it, nature, the natural world, of course, which we are a part of, is a sacred scripture. If we pay attention to nature, to the cycles and the rhythms of nature, it's a beautiful model about how to live, a beautiful model about interrelatedness and interdependency. Even if you've done anything with our teaching, religious science, you've heard the metaphor, I'm sure, of seed, soil, and plant. And it's not just an analogy or an example or a clever illustration. It is a demonstration of the creative process. This idea of seed moving forth into form, that's the essence and the basis of all of creation. I could talk all night about it, and I won't, because this is just a summary. But I love one thing, one perspective that was pointed out by Hazrat Inayat Khan, that of all the various sacred scriptures, of all of the various holy books, the book of nature is the only one that has been written directly by the hand of God. There is much to be learned in the way we interact with each other and the natural world. Let us keep our hearts open so that we continually hear its lessons. And I'm going to turn this over to my brother Masando to share what he spoke about. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Simon. And thank you. I just want to give a shout out to Jennifer again for her vulnerability and her incredible performance. It's amazing what music can do just to open our hearts. And it really relates with what I talked about last week, which is this idea of interdependence and interconnectedness, right? And, I kind of started by, I have a buddy that's in Alaska who is literally like before his own eyes every single day, seeing the ways that the environment is changing and the ways in which global climate change is happening like right before his eyes, right? He's seeing species die. And he's also seeing the ways that I didn't mention last week that people are being affected, that indigenous people up in Alaska that have been living on that land for thousands of years, whose livelihood, whose rituals, whose day-to-day life can no longer exist because the permafrost in which all of that was taking place, the food sources in which they have relied upon, they're all going away. And so we have like climate refugees, like right here in this moment. And I read this quote, and I read it to you again by this environmental scientist who talks about the fact that there's all this science out there, but how we're still we haven't been able to make the changes that he thinks that we'll be required to make. And he says, the reason for this, he said, I used to think that top environmental problems were biodiversity loss, ecosystem collapse, and climate change. I thought that 30 years of good science could address these problems. I was wrong. The top environmental problems are selfishness, greed, and apathy. And to deal with these, we need a cultural and spiritual transformation. And we scientists don't know how to do that. And so I think we came to this point, I think we're all coming to this realization that, we're in a little bit of a spiritual crisis right now. And that spiritual crisis is really rooted in the fact that we have perhaps forgotten how deeply interconnected we are, how deeply dependent we are upon one another and upon this beautiful planet that we're living on, that we're paying homage to tomorrow. And that spiritual crisis, I think Brene Brown, she talks about this way. She says, we are in a spiritual crisis, especially if we look at the definition of spirituality, which for her is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. And she says, we are neither celebrating nor recognizing that inextricable connection right now. And I think when you see, when I witnessed Jennifer have that emotional reaction, I was just right there with her, right? Because I can feel that too. I can feel the ways in which, we have forgotten how to remember this inextricable connection. We've forgotten how to live together. We've forgotten how to live from a place of compassion. We've gotten into our little, silos and echo chambers, and only interacting with people that agree with us, and defriending, and just seeking to eliminate in some ways people that aren't, right? And so I think where we ended with, where I think we all have to go, what Brene Brown says is, addressing this crisis will take a tremendous amount of courage. It's going to take a tremendous amount of courage for us to remember this interconnectedness to ourselves, this God self that is always residing and abiding within. It's going to take courage to really accept this aspect of ourselves, that when we really discover that, we discover our connection to all of life and to each other. It takes courage to recognize that and to act on that. I think we're all working that out right now in society. And that's really our call, and it's how we, I think, are being all called to move forward. And it's not easy, but it's where we're headed. And so I just want to close with a quote from an indigenous climate activist named Xiuhtezcatl Martinez. And this is what he says. He says, "This life is a gift, and it is our responsibility to respect and protect that which gives us life. Every generation leaves a mark on this planet. We leave something behind to be remembered by, and we are at a tipping point right now where we will either be remembered as a generation that destroyed the planet, as a generation that put profits before future, or as a generation that united to address the greatest issue of our time by changing our relationship with the earth. We are being called upon to use our courage and our innovation and our creativity and our passion to bring forth a new world. So in the light of this collapsing world that we see, what better time to be born than now? What better time to be alive than now? Because this generation, we get to change the course of history. Humans have created the greatest crisis that we see on the planet, and the greater the challenge, the higher we will rise to overcome it." So with that, I'd like to turn it over to beloved Dr. Patty.
Thank you, Masando. And thank you, Simon. I'm just sitting here, just contemplating and giving gratitude for being a community that is so dedicated to really making a difference. And I can't help but think about the Hopis who many years ago now gave forth a prophecy, and they said, "We are the ones that we've been waiting for." So tonight, the web of life, and I have a beautiful poem here that a friend of mine wrote. I told her that I wanted to speak about the web of life. This was weeks ago. And she sent me this poem, so I want to start by reading her poem. And this was written by Jennifer Strook, and it's entitled, "I Sit Suspended." A spider web suspended in space forms a dew illuminated by a backdrop of light. And I too am illuminated by light, revealed actually, as I come into being. I am a pinpoint of light. Just as the stars reveal themselves only in darkness, my pinpoint is in darkness too. There are other pinpoints emerging from that vast reservoir of outer space. Soon we will merge together, and we will glow out from the darkness. And in our glowing, we reveal others. And once in darkness too. There must be light from a greater source in all that glowing. A new mythology is emerging. Flowing from within outward, a new story for humanity, a new guidepost in the darkness. Our peoples are one people. Our myths merge and become one myth now, a global myth. A beacon is clear. A source is within, like dewdrops shining on the web of life. The spider tends to her weaving, creating beauty suspended in time. What a beautiful writing that is. And so what I wanted to share with you, and I give thanks for being a part of a team such as Simon and Masando, the three of us working smart to support here at Mile High Church at Earth Ministry, to support inclusivity, recognizing the diversity, and coming to know that we are one human race. So, recognizing that we are in a flux right now, and I think, Masando, you spoke somewhat to that. We have to put our collective minds together to reorder our priorities. My good friend Doug Goodfeather, and I've been quoting his work in the last couple of weeks because he's written a beautiful book called We Are All Indigenous. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And in that book, he says that each one of us, we are star seeds. I love that image, that we are star seeds. And I believe that all of you online and all of you that are here in person, oh, I'm so glad you're here because you're making me feel warmer. I've been cold all day and I can feel your love. Thank you for being present. But he says that we are the ones, we are those star seeds that have come forth to make a difference. And to know that we all have been cut from the same fabric, the same fabric. And there's a great hoop or a great circle. You know, when we think of Grandmother Earth, she's round. She appears to be round. And that circle of life, we all have come from that God seed, from that circle, from that spiral. When we took birth, it was like spiraling, coming down into the earth. And I believe with all my heart, when we leave the earth, there's a spiral that takes us into the greater heavens. So that circle is constant. And some of the great Native American holy men, I'm thinking of Black Elk Speaks, and I'm just paraphrasing him. Many, many years ago, he spoke that there was one tree and that there would be a day where all people, all races would come to that tree and they would be brothers and they would be sisters. And they would pray around that tree of life. And so I give thanks for people who have planted those seeds of thought. And so many times we have forgotten those because we have gotten so wrapped up in trying to build and recreate and stay just in our rational mind. Nothing wrong with the rational mind. But we have forgotten many times about that mystical heart, that mystical mind of heart that is ever so present that the indigenous knew of. Now, each one of us, we might not be native to this country, Native Americans, but we are native to this planet, each one of us. And so for us to remember that as we celebrate tomorrow, Earth Day, in fact, I think every day is Earth Day. And I want to just quote Doug Goodfeather. He says, everything that is natural is sacred. It just takes emerging from the fog of our limited human belief system to comprehend it. The concept of Wakan, or the sacred, does not in any way have a religious meaning. It supersedes all religion as it is the embodiment of the original truth, designed of all that is. So that original truth is a part of the human culture of who we are. And also I wanted to mention tonight that there is a natural law. And I know religious science, we have principles and we call them laws. Laws are patterns. Patterns of virtue, the way we live our life. And tonight I refer to a natural law. And the natural law itself is the intelligence of all life. It is the real authority. It's going beyond patterns of politics, going beyond patterns of religion, materialism, racism, intellectualism. And for example, I think about pollution. And I know that we have buried pollution within the earth. We have placed pollution within what was once clear waters. But so many times the pollution is in the way we treat ourselves. And as Jennifer so beautifully said, it's the way we treat others. So to be able to continue to clear those thoughts, to be a clear channel, to be that star seed in a beautiful, beautiful way. And so when we can let go of many times even materialism or intellectualism or personalism, what I mean by that, I think for way too long it's like, this belongs to me, 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 me. Instead of coming back to that great circle. In Lakota, the circle's known as an Ochoka, the sacred circle of life. And that's why I love this beautiful community so much. I think we are one big Ochoka, one large circle of infinite truth. And so, yes, perhaps we, all of us, are the ones we've been waiting for. So a beautiful individual, his name is Orrin Lyons, and he is a faith keeper for the Wolf clan of the Seneca Nation. And if you've been listening to anything on YouTube, Orrin's been on YouTube a lot. In fact, they've had a lot of Native American leaders, and many of you know I'm very connected with the Lakota Sioux, and I thought to myself, my gosh, are they telling us that the world's coming to an end? Because they're revealing their songs, they're coming forth and they're teaching. I'm grateful for that. But I listened. And my heart opened wide, especially with Orrin. He's such a spokesman. He said the human race is about education and understanding racism. He said there's only one race, and it's a human race. And that race itself, the R in race stands for reality, the A for authentic, C, consciousness, and the E stands for equality. So tonight, we want to plant some seeds. And we want to plant some seeds of thought. And I want us to imagine right now a beautiful white pine tree. I know the pine trees are white at my house because it's snowing, but I'm talking about a white, pure pine tree. And that pine tree has 4 roots, and they go deep within Grandmother Earth. Perhaps there will be a day where we will see it. Maybe your grandchildren will. Maybe your great-grandchildren will see the white pine tree with its beautiful roots. So tonight in planting seeds, I have a seed packet here. And it's a little crude, but it says cosmic seeds. And planting those God seeds, where do we plant those seeds? We plant those in consciousness. We fertilize them with our beliefs, with our faith, and we water them with our love. And they're guaranteed. You know, in those packages of seeds that always has a little place that says guaranteed to grow? Only if we water with love. Only if we fertilize with our belief and our faith, and we're planting them in consciousness. So tonight, in honor of Earth Day tomorrow, and knowing that every day is Earth Day, I would ask that as we go into this beautiful ritual, we're going to honor the sacred elements of life. These sacred elements are in and through all of life. Those elements are breath, water, substance, earth, and fire. So right now, I'm going to just honor the breath. And you folks at home and all of you in the sanctuary tonight, if you want to just be with me and honor your breath, placing your hand out like this, just blowing into your hand, just like the wind. And now we honor the water. We have come forth as breath. We are of water. And we honor the substance. We honor the earth, the substance. And you might want to just place your hand on your heart, on your body, because this is the substance, our body. And we have the seeds that Reverend Simon is placing into that clay bowl. Just in recognition that our physical homes, our bodies are made of these elements. And then we have the great fire. And the fire in the morning when the sun rays touch our shoulders, the fire. The fire representing the newness, transformation. So I behold here tonight a transformation that is already in process. I behold that white pine tree and those sacred four roots that represent the breath. They represent the beauty of the water, the substance, and the fire. So for us to remember in our prayers, to remember as we meet and greet ourselves in the mirror in the morning, to see the face of God, and then to be able to reflect that one to another. I have a little story that I want to share with you before I do a little prayer here. My great uncle was a good man. He was a rancher. He came to Colorado as, I think, 3 months old from Illinois at the turn of the century. He was fortunate to have a large ranch, Parker, Colorado. He was a rancher. He was a farmer. He was a good man. And out of his goodness, he gave and gave and gave. He never talked about money. He just gave and gave and gave, and he received. And at his passing and at his wife's passing, everything in the ranch home was given to my mother and I to go through. One day, I was down in the basement of their little ranch home, as humble as that home was. And there was a big tin can there, an old peanut butter can that came out of Chicago. I thought, what is in that big old can? And I opened it, I pried it open, And in that can was his fortune, because it was filled with seeds. Today I still have that can. I kept it because I knew that was Uncle Adam's. It was his root. It was his life to be with the earth and take good care of it. And the packages of seeds are so nicely buttoned up and tied and labeled. A couple old boxes filled with seeds. So it kind of represents that each one of us, we might be a little package of seed. We might be a large package. We might be kind of crumpled over here into a tiny little package. But we're all of seed, of that star seed. So right now, please just join with me in a little prayer. Oh, infinite Spirit, Almighty God, and Grandmother Earth, Tankashila, meaning earth, rock. May we build our church. May we build who we are on that rock of that spiritual knowingness. May we live from that place of spiritual knowingness. And so recognizing that divine connection, that connection that connects each one of us. We are all rooted in spirit. And every religion is feasting on the seed of that spiritual truth. So above, so below, so all around about is that living truth that we are one. We are one body. And so I give thanks for this, and I give thanks for this opportunity tonight just to share these truths. And most importantly, for us to live these truths. So I would ask you that perhaps tomorrow, on Earth Day, maybe brush away the snow if you're in Denver, Colorado. The ground is nice and soft because it has also rained. Maybe plant a seed or find an old package of seeds and open them and give your seed to the earth. So with great thanksgiving, I give thanks that we are ever so grounded, above, below, and all around about. And I declare these truths into being, and so it is. Amen.
There was a mighty seed from heaven planted in my heart, and it's opening right now at the perfect time. I've got all I need to grow, the sun, the rain, and friends around me, and love to keep me strong and free. Growing with spirit, handle me with care. Give me water that is clean and fresh air. Give me love and understanding, and I'll give you back the same. We're all in this soil together, don't you know? All growing with spirit, here we grow. All growing with spirit, here we grow. Growing with spirit, Give me water that is clean and fresh air. Give me love and understanding, and I'll give you back the same. We're all in this soil together, don't you know? All growing with spirit, here we grow. All growing with spirit, here we grow.
Jennifer, Jennifer, Jennifer. You touched my heart tonight so deeply. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your authenticity. And wow. Don't we have an incredible community here? And I'm so, so thankful. Yeah. Whew. It's just the best. And so this is a time where we just celebrate our community by our giving. And I just want to say thank you for all that you have given. Thank you, all of you who are here tonight. And know you can come next Wednesday night. But we appreciate the gifts that have come to us all this past year, all year long. And so thank you so much. And for those of you present today, there's containers in the lobby that you can place your gifts in. And thank you for sharing your gratitude with Mile High Church. So tonight, I just want to say that you can text your gift to, I think it's 45888, Mile High Church, and that would be great. Or you can mail it in. We appreciate that. So let's just affirm together that divine mind as me, we bless and, let's see. Michelle, I blew it out. Yeah, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I circulate. I got that down right. And that's the important part. So thank you very much.
Poetic phrases come to mind whenever I find injustice being done. And I wonder, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What can one do except be one? Talking with two, touching three, growing to 4 million. Each of us is one. All of us are one. I go through phases when I realize it wouldn't be wise to try and bring you down. And I wonder, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What should one do except just be around, staying alive, putting out love, growing to 5 billion. Each of us is one. All of us are one. Help me now and let the love come shining through, and you will do what you need to do to know just where the other you is coming is one. The earth is one. The universe is one. I am one. We are one. It just amazes me I can be part of the energy it takes to serve each other. And I wonder, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What can one do except be one? Each of us is one. All of us are one. We are one. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Be one.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Kent. So just some closing announcements before you go. We have an amazing prayer team here at Mile High Church. So if you are wanting prayer for yourself, if you are wanting to say a prayer for our world and our earth, if you're wanting healing for yourself or someone you know, or gosh, healing for our planet, or healing from the racism and sexism that still plagues our society, we have people here that will support you in that. And so there's many ways to get access to that. And I really encourage everybody to engage in this transformative process of prayer. And just a reminder to everyone who's here and who's tuning in online, we are open on Wednesday nights. I think this is the most we've had on a Wednesday night in 2021. So it's just great to have some energy of some human beings in the room. It is so good to feel us coming back. So we would love to see you here in person. So you don't need to go on the website, just come and show up. And lastly, we have a great series that's continuing this Sunday. So again, if you want to come and join us, go to milehighchurch.org/RSVP and come and reserve your seats. So thank you all for being with us here tonight. Happy Earth Day. I'll turn it back over to Jennifer and Ken.
If you want to stand and think about it, we invite you to stand and just be in this song with us. We know that the lyrics aren't up because of the masks and trying to be safe, but here we go. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm